Awete everyone, this is Regulus Pastor. Welcome back to Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. Or not. It just crashed. Or no. It's going full screen again. So I don't know what's going on. No. Oh, here we go. So, we found out that from tips that the minister is planning to give in to the demands of the people who kidnapped his grandson. But as Akasaka-san, we and Oishi-san rescued Yunegai Toshiki. Perpetrators got away, and we, Akasaka, got shot. And after we verified that the kid is safe and that no harm was done to him, we faded out of consciousness. So we're continuing from that. And we also found out from a tip that apparently he didn't get to talk to his wife yet. He turned down the opportunity to call her the night before all this happened, and so we haven't spoken to her since then. So we rescued this child that we didn't have to rescue because the perpetrators were going to give him over anyway, probably. We got shot, and so this is feeling pretty futile so far. So let's view the new tips. A very kind person. Patients admitted to the hospital can only accept calls at fixed times. That's why she wouldn't be receiving a call from him today. Yesterday, she had teased him that he got lonely easily, so he might have struggled with the idea of calling her sooner. That was much easier to imagine, rather than that he might just be too busy to call. Because he's just that type of person. Ikie, whispering that, smiled to herself. The announcement that visiting hours were over played over the hospital intercom along with some music. She exchanged pleasantries with the family of the patient that was staying in the same room as her. Probably eager for his mother to be discharged, their small child was wearing a beaming smile. That child's mother was pregnant in the bed next to mine with what may be their new brother or sister. They were probably ready to burst with the expectations, dreams, and worries of having a new sibling. The joys of a growing family. Bathing in those warm feelings, I stroked my own belly, which had grown quite large. I had talked with him about how many children we wanted to have. We talked about how if we had 3, it would certainly be lively. However, there was the inescapable worry of whether I would be able to handle giving birth that many times.
でもそんなことを不安に思って出産を嫌う母なんていないですものね。
There isn't a mother out there who would hate to give birth because of that worry, though.
Ikie, smiling as she said that to herself, gently stroked her stomach. The Metropolitan Public Safety Division. The place where that man's sense of justice had led him. That's misspelled. That person was actually a very gentle, very fragile person. He didn't talk much about the specifics, but I didn't think he was suited for the assignment he was on right now. But as long as he said he was going to try his best, I would watch over him warmly.
あなたのお父さんはね、とっても頑張り屋さんなのよ。こちょこちょこちょこちょ。
Your father, you see, is a very hard worker, you know.
Ikie seemed to be enjoying herself as she talked to her own belly. At that moment, Ikie suddenly became concerned about something and looked out the window. It used to be this time, long ago. She remembered that when she was little, around this time in the countryside where her grandmother lived, the Higurashi would fill the air with their chorus. This was the middle of Tokyo. Unlike in the countryside, you couldn't hear the song of the Higurashi. But for some reason, At that moment, Gie felt that she wanted to hear that song. Uh-oh, she's got intuition! So let's go on to the actual next chapter. That was my first time losing consciousness. You often hear of regaining consciousness on top of a bed, but this was my first time actually experiencing it.
もしもし
Hello?
大丈夫ですか
Are you okay? Realizing that I was awake, a young doctor called out to me. I didn't intend to respond, but it seems that my body language had told him I was conscious. My head was wrapped in bandages. The scratches all over my body had also been treated. My sense of pain also returned with my consciousness, causing me to groan from the intense pain shooting all throughout me.
起きないで横になっていてください
One second. Got an itch in my ear. Darn it. Always happens with this headset. Don't try to get up. Just stay lying down, please.
頭をだいぶ殴られたようですからね
It seems that you took quite a few blows to the head.
24時間は特に安静にして容体を見守りたいところです
I want you to stay rested so we can monitor your condition for at least the next 24 hours.
ここは
Where is this?
私の診療所です
This is my clinic.
入江と申しますよろしく
Pleased to meet you. My name is Irie. I remembered that this young doctor was the one in the car headed the opposite way earlier.
誰かいませんか
Is there somebody here?
大石さんは
Where's Oishi-san?
あ呼んできましょう
Ah, I'll call him over.
診療所の中は禁煙なんで表で吸ってもらってるんです
And he actually obeyed this time? There's no smoking inside the clinic, so I had him smoke outside. Well, fair enough. Remember at the end of Wataragashi-hen when he visited Keiichi and violated the rules by smoking, while turning the filter up high. They were not in Hinamizawa or even Okinomiya. That hospital was outside because or no, that was Shishibane City Hospital, I think, still. Because Keiichi's parents had moved already, but he was still in the hospital. I don't think he was transferred. Anyway. Dr. Irie left the room to go call Oishi. The scenery outside the window was tinted with gold. The pouring rain had stopped, with the voices of the Higurashi heralding the cooling temperature. I felt that the tone of the Higurashi's voices was comforting. Eventually, I could hear heavy footsteps coming closer, which I reckoned to be Oishi's. The fog that was enveloping my head slowly faded back to reality. What had happened since then? What had happened to the boy? What about the reinforcements from Tokyo? The door to the room flew open, allowing Dr. Irie and Oishi to enter.
じゃあ命に別状はないんでしょ
So, there's no serious damages there?
ないとお約束はできません
I can't promise that.
頭に受けた傷は初見だけでは判断が危険なのです
I assessed the wound to his head was dangerous the moment I saw it.
わかりましたわかりました
Got it.
ちょいと彼と二人で話がしたいんですが
I wanna have a little
よろしいですかね
I wanna have a little chat alone with him for a bit. Would you mind?
ええどうぞ何かありましたらお呼びください
Yeah, go ahead. Call me if anything happens. Oishi, after basically forcing Dr. Irie outside, shut the door.
いかがですかお具合は
How are you feeling?
慣れないことをしたんで全身がボロボロです
I did something I'm not used to, so I'm pretty banged up all over. Oi, she brought over a folding chair that was leaning against the wall and sat down beside the bed.
犯人たちは逮捕されましたか？
Were the perpetrators arrested?
残念ながら。
Unfortunately, no.
とっくに県外へ逃げたか、村人にかくまわれているかのどちらかでしょうね。
They probably already fled the prefecture or are being hidden by the villagers.
まあ、逃がしゃしませんが。
Well, we won't let them get away.
大臣の孫は？
What about the minister's grandson?
署で保護しています。
They're taking care of him at the station.
ただ、東京のあなたのご同僚から一切の聴取は取るなと釘を刺されたらしいですよ。
But your colleagues from Tokyo were rather insistent that nothing can be recorded.
しげちゃんが憤慨してましたっけ
Shige-chan doesn't like that too much. The kidnapping was a confidential matter, so his custody was also probably being kept under wraps. How the kidnapping of the minister's grandson would be handled, how it would be covered up, treated like it never happened, would be handled by the brass. If this case ended without the Nishi going into an uproar about it, then our job had been done. The possibility that the minister had negotiated with the perpetrators couldn't be ruled out. But something like that was no longer my concern. My role in this case was over.
ご迷惑をおかけします。
Sorry for the trouble.
公安ってやつはいやらしいところだって思ってるでしょ。
You must think that public safety is rather unseemly place, don't you? Typo.
思いません思いません。
No, no.
お互い日の丸から給金もらって仕事してるだけですよ。
No, we're gonna give him its time. Oh, she laughed boisterously. When we first met, I was somewhat prejudiced against Oishi, but now I know that feeling was gone completely.
今回の事件隠さないで大元にしてくれた方がこっちは都合がいいんですけどね。
It would be more convenient for us if this case was handled properly instead of being hidden away.
そうすれば黒幕の園崎本家に少しは迫れるんですが。
If that happened, we would be able to have something to go at the Sonozaki family with since they were behind it all.
まあ適当に迫ったところで圧力がかかるんでしょうがね。
Well, if we just start poking around, we'll get all sorts of pressure put on us, though.
やれやれです。
What a mess.
大石さんは園崎本家に今後も戦いを？
Are you going to continue the fight against the Sonozaki family after this?
まさか。
Nah.
いろいろと黒い噂こそ絶えませんがね。
There's all
園崎家に恨みがあるわけじゃありませんので。
sorts of dark rumors swirling around them, but it's not like I have a personal grudge. The murders haven't started yet, and he was calling the first victim of the curse, the foreman of the dam construction, old man, which means he views him as a father figure. So that is when his grudge will begin.
君子危うきに近寄らない方がいいんですよ。
There should be a 2 right here. Is a typo. It'll be wise not to step on any toes here.
ね。
Oi, she laughed happily, and I couldn't help but laugh along.
あ、そうだそうだ。
Oh, that's right.
さっき県警から署に連絡があったそうです。
There was word at the station from the prefectural police.
あなたのご同僚が名古屋に到着したそうで、今車でこちらへ向かっているそうです。
Your colleagues arrived at Nagoya and are driving up here right now.
あなたは名誉の負傷ですから、東京へ引き上げだそうですよ。
You've got your battle scars, so you're being recalled to Tokyo, apparently.
そんなわけです。はあ、お疲れ様でした。
That's how it's shaking up. Good job.
あなたの沖宮での仕事は無事終了です。
Your work in Okinoriya is safely over. I was being recalled to Tokyo. I inadvertently breathed a sigh of relief when I heard those words.
大石さんのご協力に深く感謝します。
I'm deeply thankful for your cooperation, Oishi-san.
あなたに支払った協力金は無駄にはなりませんでしたね。
It seems the collaboration fee I paid you didn't go to waste.
あら、冗談のつもりだったんだけどな。
I kind of meant that as a joke, though.
Oishi took out his wallet, casually pulled out several large bills, and jammed them into the breast pocket of my shirt.
これは協力金の返済じゃないですよ。
This isn't a refund on the collaboration fee, you hear?
私からあなたへのお小遣いです。
This is just me gifting you a little spending money.
この辺は地酒がうまいんでね。
The booze around here is pretty good.
東京へのお土産にこいつで買っていくといいでしょ
Use this to buy yourself a little souvenir.
He's gonna need it. Oishi flashed me a grin.
う。もしもあなたの傷が軽いようなら、東京へ帰る前にぜひ声をかけてくださいよ。
If your injuries turn out not...
If your injuries turn out to be not too serious, call me before you head back to Tokyo, will you?
おやつさんも佐藤さんもぜひあなたともう一度タコを囲みたいと言ってましたからね。
The old man and Sato-san said they'd like to sit at a table with you again.
やれやれ。参ったな。
Oh my. Can't refuse that.
今度はこっちも小細工抜きです。
And no tricks this time.
純粋に楽しもうじゃないですか。
Just a plate of fun.
よく言いますよ。
They always say that.
現職の警官があんなに濃い様ができるなんて
This,
世も末です。
this world is done for if an active officer can cheat that blatantly.
私どもとね、対等以上に打てるメンツにはなかなかお会いできないもんです。
It's not often that we meet someone who's more than a match for us.
あなたが東京に帰るのが惜しいですよ。
It's too bad you're going back to Tokyo.
Start to yawn, crap. When I heard the words going back to Tokyo from Oishi, I was reminded once again that I was relieved from my duties. Soon, Yukie would be giving birth. It might still be possible to attend the delivery that I had at one time given up on. When I thought that, the pain from my injuries became trivial. I wanted to hurry back to Tokyo and see Yukie at once.
少し傷が重いふりをして沖宮にしばらく滞在しません？
Can you pretend that your injuries are a bit more serious and hang around Okinomiya for a bit?
いいお店をいろいろ紹介しますよ。
I can introduce you to a few nice places.
もちろん、おごれなんて言いません。
Of course, I won't make you pay for everything.
申し訳ないですが、それはまたの機会にします。
I'm terribly sorry, but I'll have to take a range check on that.
妻の出産日が近いんでね。
My wife is due to give birth any day now.
早く帰りたいんです。
I want to hurry back home.
ありゃりゃ。
Oh my, oh my.
あ、それは知らなかった。
I didn't know that.
それじゃあこんなとこにいちゃいけない。
Then you shouldn't be hanging around here.
早く帰らないといけません。
You have to hurry back home.
For a while after that, Oishi asked all sorts of questions about my wife, teasing and bantering with me.
さて、
Well then,
具合はどうです？
how do you feel?
おきれいそうですか？
Think you can get up?
ええ、おかげさまで悪くないです。
Yeah, it's not so bad, thanks to you.
立って歩いても全然平気ですよ。
I can get up and walk no problem. I stood up and shuffled around for a bit, which seemed to amuse Oishi.
いえいえ、ひなみ沢の病院では落ち着かないでしょうと思いまして。
No, I just thought you might not feel comfortable at a hospital in Hinamizawa.
入江の先生は一晩泊まらせたいみたいなこと言ってますが、
Dr. Irie said he wanted you to stay overnight.
犯人もまだ捕まってませんし、
But we still haven't caught the perpetrators.
一応ここはあなたにとっては敵地になりますからね。
For the time being, this is enemy territory for you after all.
この病院は安全ではないということですか？
Are you saying this hospital isn't safe?
まあ、入江の先生も多少は社会的信用のあるお人です。
Well, Dr. Irie is somebody who's well regarded in the community. I don't think anything will happen while
ここにいる限りは何もないとは思いますが、赤坂さんの気分的にめいらないかという方が問題ですね。
But I'm more worried about your mental health.
I had a... Oh, typo. I had relaxed a bit now that things had progressed this far, but it was exactly as Oishi had said. When I realized that this was enemy territory, I suddenly felt uncomfortable. With the only thing left for me to do was leave, the chance that I would come to harm was logically fairly low. But that didn't mean I was completely safe.
そうですね。
That's right.
横になっているだけならホテルのベッドでも同じな気がします。
If I'm just gonna be lying down, then doing it in a hotel bed won't be all that different.
そうでしょう、そうでしょ
Right.
う。私もその方がいいと思います。
I also think that's for the best.
At that moment, I caught a glimpse of the clock over Oishi's shoulder. It was the evening. The hours when I could call Yukie at the hospital were almost over. I wanted to tell her as quickly as possible that I would soon be back at her side.
ちょっと雪江の病院に電話してきます。
I went to call Yukie at the hospital.
ロビーに公衆電話とかはありませんか？
Is there a public phone in the lobby?
新婚さんはそういうの豆だな。
You nearly rise around like this.
確か会計の脇にあったと思います。
If I recall correctly, there's one by the register.
ここで待ってますから、行ってらっしゃい、行ってらっしゃい。
I'll be waiting here, so go ahead.
Oishi, laughing while saying that he was jealous, opened the window and pulled out a cigarette, even though he's in a hospital room. I know it! Appreciative of how considerate Oishi was, I set out to the lobby to find the phone. Ide only called him out on it and made him exit the building just because he caught him. Or knew how Oishi was. But yeah, this is clinic and not Shibone City Hospital, so it is a different hospital from where Keiichi was staying at the end of Watanagashi-hen. The lobby was just a short distance down the hallway from the hospital room. I thought that this hospital was a bit too grand for a village like this, but of course it was nothing compared to the general hospital Yukie was admitted to. Running inside a hospital wasn't the best of manners, but calling hours would soon end, so I dashed over in a hurry. There was nobody else in the lobby. It may have been the evening, but there was nobody at the reception desk. Well, this might actually be lucky for me. I wasn't planning to have a conversation to feel guilty about, but it would still be embarrassing to have someone listen to the conversation between me and Yukie. Taking a quick look around, I soon found the payphone. Digging around into my pockets, I grabbed a few coins. I was calling Tokyo from here, so I would burn through this amount fairly quickly. I picked up the receiver and inserted a coin, then dialed the number for Yukie's hospital, which I had completely memorized at this point. The number for Yukie's hospital had a lot of 8s and 9s, so dialing it in inevitably took some time. Oh, it's supposed to be more like, I have no idea how I'm going to imitate that sound. That's why it varied in length. Normally it wouldn't be a big deal, but currently any time was precious. Man, I don't think I've ever used a rotary phone. I've seen them, and I know a relative that has had one in the past, but I've never gotten to use one. Although I know how to use it. However, I felt that something was strange as I was dialing in the number. I don't know exactly how to put it, but it was as if the receiver was too quiet. The unique white noise from the phone line wasn't there. Somehow, I felt that I wasn't getting any feedback from the phone, and without feeling a response, I hung up the receiver to try again. The coin popped out from the return slot, I reinserted the coin and began dialing once again, but the receiver was still dead silent.
なんだこれ。
What is this?
断線でもしてるのかな。
Is it disconnected? While I was wasting time like this, the amount I had to spend talking with Yukie shrunk. I began to feel needlessly impatient.
すみません。
Excuse me! I felt the presence of someone on the other side of the glass, so I called out. There was an immediate response, and a man who seemed like a pharmacist came over.
はいはい。どうなさいましたか？
Yes. How can I help you?
すみません。
Pardon me.
この電話の調子がおかしくて。
This phone seems to be acting a little strange.
ちょっと見てもらえますか？
Could you take a look at it? The man came over and tried testing various things with the receiver pressed to his ear. Come to think of it, this was someone who worked at the hospital, not someone from the phone company. Just as I didn't know much about phones, neither would he.
あれ？
Huh?
なんだこれ？
What's this? The man held up the cord that connected the phone to the wall. It was completely severed.
なんだこれ。
What the heck is that?
参ったな。
Well, this is a dilly of a pickle.
これじゃ電話会社の人に直してもらわないとどうにもならないですね。
Can't do anything with this until somebody from the phone company comes and fixes it. I mean, don't you have like some paper clips and some duct tape? Like, you could at least try something.
電話でしたら事務室のを使います？
If you're looking for a phone, do you want to use the one in the office? I didn't want the people in the hospital office around while I was talking.
近所に公衆電話はありませんか？
Oh. I unplugged the headphones a little bit. Is there another payphone close by?
ここを出て道なりに行くと商店街に出ます。
Let's see. If you leave here and follow the road, you'll come out into the shopping district.
そこのどこかの角のタバコ屋にあったような気がするな。
I think there's a smoke shop on the corner around there.
行けば見つけられると思いますよ。
If you head that way, you should be able to find one soon enough. I was dressed in a hospital gown. I was wearing sandals on my feet. My head was wrapped in bandages. Just looking at me, you could tell I was a hospital patient. No matter how you looked at it, I was not dressed to be wandering outside. But that's where the impetuousness of youth came in. Choosing the chance to talk to Yukie for even a little longer, I headed outside in my current state. Aren't you supposed to wait until you're discharged, young man? Follow the road to the shopping district. Should be able to find one soon enough. With only those two lines as my guide, I ran outside the gates of the hospital. With the village nestled in a valley, when the sun set, it got dark quickly. The sparse streetlights lit up enough to start attracting moths. The Higurashi, knowing the time for the chorus was soon to close, redoubled their fragile cries. Finding the payphone wasn't as easy as the person at the hospital had suggested. I'm already starting to trip over my words, and I forgot to record the time when I started yawning. Oh well, it's not that big of an event. Who cares? Was it still up ahead? Did I miss it already? Was I just getting farther away? Just as I was about to be crushed by the wave of uncertainty towering over me, I found a shop on the corner with cigarettes written on a small sign. 1 second. Alright. My joy spurred me onwards. Just as I had heard at the hospital, set next to the counter of the cigarette shop was an antiquated payphone. I wasn't wearing a watch, so I didn't know what time it was. I probably didn't have much left, though. But it was enough. Just as long as I could tell Yukie my job was done and I would be coming home soon. Picking up the receiver, I slid a coin down the slot. But I felt that something was strange, just like at the hospital. Even after inserting the coin, the phone showed no response. I hung up the receiver and tried putting in the coin one more time. but there's absolutely no response. His phone was dead. It couldn't be. Thinking that, I fell along the cord that protruded from the back of the phone. Doing that, my hands found the end of a completely severed line. What is this? Having now had the same thing happen twice, my bafflement was accompanied by a sense of unease. It seemed that the cord had been severed cleanly by a sharp blade of some sort. And I may be mistaken, but it didn't look like much time had passed since it was cut.
すみません。
Excuse me.
すみません。
Hello? Opening up the booth window of the tobacco shop, I looked for someone in a dimly lit interior. Eventually, there were the sounds of somebody plodding down some stairs, and an old lady appeared. The old lady's plodding and lethargic steps, for some reason, only served to make me more frantic.
タバコですかいね。
You need some cigarettes?
小さまでねんと、わがねのじゃ。
I'll need to get my husband.
タバコを買いたいわけじゃないんです。
I'm not here to buy cigarettes. Rather, this phone here.
この電話が。
That worked out well, actually. Realizing that saying the phone was broken and asking him to take a look at it was going to get me nowhere, I swallowed back my words.
この電話が壊れてるみたいなんで、別の公衆電話があるところを教えてもらいたいのですが。
Sorry, it seems this phone is broken, and I was wondering if you could tell me where there's another payphone. The old lady moved her jaw up and down slowly as if chewing on the meaning of my words. It seemed that she wouldn't understand until she had digested things thoroughly.
電話、壊れてますかいね。
So the phone is broken.
そんな難儀だわ。
That's a dilly of a pickle.
They really love that phrase, that exact phrase, and I've never heard it before. I've heard, calling a sticky situation a pickle. I've heard the word dilly, but I've never heard a dilly of a pickle before. And this is the second time it's appeared.
他の公衆電話を当たってください。
You should try another payphone.
The old lady directed me to another payphone that seemed quite a ways away. Her way of telling me was so long-winded that I inadvertently started to get impatient. At that moment, I spotted a clock in the dim interior of the store. The minute hand was just about to point straight up. Even if there were a phone right here that I could use, I'd only be able to tell Yukiya good night with the time I had left. On top of that, my destination was a remote payphone which I didn't know the exact distance to. If I was of a normal state of mind, deciding to give up the phone today would have been the natural thought process. But at that moment I had become somewhat stubborn for some reason. Unable to use the phone in the hospital, and coming out here and still being unable to use one. There was no mistaking that I had become quite insistent on using a phone.
どうもありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
その電話ボックス、探してみます。
I'll try looking for that phone booth. Refusing her offer to draw me a map, I left the tobacco shop. According to the old lady, even though the phone booth was quite far away, it would be easy to find. If I just followed this road straight down, I'd eventually find it. Sandals flapping as I ran, I couldn't help but laugh at myself. I'll admit that I was quite steadfast about calling Yukiya, but there were days when I was tired or busy when I wouldn't call her. Even today, my entire body was covered with injuries, and I was dead tired. On top of that, there wasn't much time left. It wouldn't be strange at all if today was one of those days I didn't call her. But having twice been foiled trying to call her, had I become hot-headed about it? Was I like a dog who was being told to stay with a piece of food dangled in my face? If only you had been this stubborn when, the guy at the clinic offered to let you use the office phone.
何やってんだろうな。
What am I doing? Even so, I somehow couldn't quell the uneasy feeling sitting in the pit of my stomach. It was like that with the hospital phone, and the same with the one at the tobacco shop. Both cords were definitely not severed from being frayed by long years of use. The clean cuts indicated that someone had taken something sharp and deliberately cut them. But who? And for what reason? The more I thought about it, the more uneasy I felt, so I tried to push the thought aside. How much had I run so far? The scenery around me was no longer that of a shopping district, with residential buildings scattered about the lonely road. The surroundings had already grown dark. I was blatantly out too far for a quick phone call. It was quite obvious I was far removed from the hospital. I recalled the clock I saw at the tobacco shop. It might almost be time. I had run for quite a bit, so my breathing had grown quite ragged. If I had just wanted to hear Yuki's voice, I should have just thrown away my reservations and borrowed the phone in the office. I regretted it a little. Well then, was it about time to give up? Just when I thought that, I saw the light in front of me. I had finally found it. It was a phone booth. It seemed that the light in the phone booth had recently been changed, as it shone with a vivid white light. Although in the gloom of Hinamizawa, it was nothing more than a gathering spot for moths. But, in any case, I had finally found it. As my hand touched the door of the phone booth, I realized that I was breathing and sweating heavily. I didn't know what time it was right now, but even if it was just for a moment, I might be able to get in touch with Yuki. Since I'd spent all this effort getting here, turning back without even giving it a try was out of the question. Before I picked up the receiver, another wave of uneasiness washed over me. I had to clear my throat. I was worried that this phone cord might be severed as well. How was the cord in this phone booth? Squatting down, I followed the bundle of cables as they ran along the corner into the ceiling. At a glance, nothing was out of the ordinary. I ran my fingers as far as I could along the line to check it out. The only thing I found was a thick layer of dust. Nothing out of the ordinary. I wondered if it was popular in Hinamizawa to cut the cords of payphones as some sort of tasteless prank. It might be prudent to talk to Oishi-san about this later. Even if it were nothing more than a prank, it was still vandalism of public property. In any case, this one was fine. This time. Pulling out a coin from my pocket with one hand, I picked up the receiver with the other. But this time, before the receiver even reached my ear, I thought something was off. The receiver was light. It was more than a slightly unpleasant feeling. It felt almost sickening. To verify the source of my displeasure, I peered at the receiver in my hand with a measure of reluctance.
なんだよこれ
What the heck is this? The coiled cord that connected the receiver to the rest of the phone had been ripped apart, the tip of the cable swaying in the air. It was all I could do to restrain myself as a raw and unpleasant feeling worked its way up the small of my back. It was a type of dread. At that moment, I heard the crunch of somebody stepping on gravel. The light was reflecting off the glass walls of the booth, leaving me unable to see outside into the darkness. I steeled myself and stepped out of the phone booth. The inside of the booth was lit with that strong light, which might have made it warmer in there. Just stepping outside, I could feel a chill wash over me. And there was the silhouette of a person. Sorry about that. A small silhouette.
君は
The long hair of that silhouette was blown about by the cool breeze.
怪我人が病院を抜け出してはいけないのですよ。
Injured people shouldn't be sneaking out of the hospital.
Somewhere in my head, I knew who this girl was. I didn't have any basis for it, but I knew she was that girl.
ねえ、赤坂。
Right, Akasaka.
She, Furude Rika, said that almost like it was a warning.
君が電話のコードを
Did you do this to the phone cord? her expression remained unchanged. My question was left unanswered. In other words, no response. Regardless, I felt that she had affirmed my suspicions.
どうしてこんなことをするんだ
Why would you do something like this?
どうして
Why? The last word had a tinge of anger behind it. I frantically tried to smooth things out, but she didn't seem very afraid.
もうどうにもならないことです。
There's nothing that can be done.
I interpreted her words as meaning that I wasn't going to be in time for calling hours at the hospital. But thinking about it, that would have been a strange thing to say. Why would she know something like that? I could take what she had said to have any other meaning. She just stood there like a mannequin, not even moving an inch. Almost to the point that if the wind weren't occasionally rustling through her long hair, there would be the illusion that time had stopped.
赤坂が私を気味悪く思っているのがよくわかる。
I know very well that you think I'm creepy, Akasaka.
ああいやそんなことないよ
No, that's not true. My denial came out almost like a bad piece composed for a poetry slam, but her words were right on the mark. I had always felt something ominous and uncanny about her. Ever since her strange threats at the shrine. She had noticed that my expression was contrary to my words, seemingly laughing at the gap between them.
赤坂の怖がり。
Akasaka, you coward.
怖がってなんかいないよ
I'm not a coward. Being laughed at by the small child didn't sit well with me, so I said that.
もう電話を探しても手遅れの時間です。
Even if you find another phone, it's too late.
そうだな
That's right. She didn't even have to say it. I was absolutely too late. I might have already missed calling hours even by the time I reached this phone booth. I was too late. I had no option but to give up for today. Once I decided that, my unhealthy obsession with phones suddenly faded. Even I thought that it was strange that I was that obsessed. That strange obsession now gone, I began to laugh at how hopeless I was. I mean, just look at what I was wearing. It wasn't normal. A hospital gown and sandals. My head wrapped in bandages, my body completely soaked in sweat. It was a wonder that the old lady at the tobacco shop wasn't surprised to see me. With wanting to hear Yukie's voice as my motive, I had traipsed around town the entire evening. I didn't know whether to call it the follies of youth or simply plain embarrassing. In any case, it was all I could do but to laugh at myself.
もうこれで
No,
今夜赤坂がすることは何もないです。
there's nothing left for Akasaka to do tonight.
そうだなもう何もないよ
You're right. There's nothing.
おとなしく病院へ引き上げるさ
I'll just quietly return to the hospital.
それがいいのですよ。
That's fine.
病院への道はわかりますですか？
Do you know the way?
わかるつもりだよ
I hope I do. She waved her little hand as I began to head back the way I came. She began to follow alongside me. Looking at her face, I could see that she wore a mischievous smile, as if she were extremely interested in whether or not I would get lost.
リカちゃんの家もこっちの方向なのかい
Is Rika-chan's house also this way?
なのですよ。
It is.
こんな時間に一人で表を歩いてるとご両親に怒られたりしないかい
Typo. Won't your parents be mad that you're walking around alone at this hour?
別に怒られませんです。
Not really.
今日はご両親は忙しい日なので僕のことなど忘れていますですよ。
My parents are busy today, so they probably forgot about me.
それでも帰った方がいい
Even then, it's best if you head on home.
きっと怒るよ。
They'll definitely be angry.
それでも赤坂とおしゃべりする方が面白いのでいいのです。
Even if they are, it's much more interesting to talk with Akasaka, so I'm fine.
She said that with a face free from worry as she looked up at me once more and smiled. When she showed me that smile, the eerie feelings surrounding her faded. But even then, she was still as mysterious to me as ever. We arrived at the corner I had turned at earlier, but it was much darker than before, and with the point of view changed on the return trip, I wasn't very confident that this actually was the corner I turned at. There's no mistake. Typo. It had to be this corner. As I began to move my feet again, the girl grabbed onto my clothes.
赤坂は病院へ戻るのではないのですか？
Isn't Akasaka going back to the hospital?
もちろん、戻るつもりだよ。
Of course. At least I intend to.
道、間違えた？
Am I going the wrong way? A short moment of silence. Eventually, still holding on to my clothes, she began to walk. It was the beginning of the walk to the hospital this mysterious girl would take me on. Higurashi no Naku Koro ni Himatsubushi-hen. Alright.
電話のコードを切って回ってたの。リカちゃんだろ。
The person who was running around cutting all the phone cords was you, wasn't it, Rika-chan?
ダメだよ。もうおっしゃ。
You shouldn't do that anymore.
僕には何のことかよくわかりませんのですよ。
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
本当にかい？
Really? She tried to play dumb, but it was written all over her face.
ニパー。
Now she's playing that card.
Nipai!
It's obvious she was trying to laugh it off, but that adorable smile of hers just made me want to forgive her. I'm going to be a horrible father, aren't I? That momentary lapse in tension was erased by her next words.
孫、無事に見つかってよかったです。
It's good that they found the grandson safe and sound.
Unable to respond right away, I sunk into silence. I had already learned this from Sato-san's info, didn't I? This girl, no, this entire village, knew everything since the moment I set foot in it. I considered playing dumb, but in the end, I chose not to. With everything being known already, there was no point in me feigning ignorance.
なんとかね。
Somehow.
それはよかったです。
That's great.
これで東京に帰れますですよ。
Now you can go back to Tokyo.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
赤坂の怪我はひどいのですか？
Are your injuries bad, Akasaka?
さあ、ひどいのかどうか、医者の診察を聞いてないからわからないな。
No. I haven't heard anything from the doctor yet, so I don't know if they are or not. Huh? Come to think of it, I vaguely remember being told to lie down and take it easy for at least 24 hours. Did that mean bed rest?
怪我人は病院を抜け出してはいけないのですよ。
The wounded shouldn't be sneaking out of the hospital.
電話のコードだって切っちゃいけないんだぞ。
I heard him use the word chichai, which is like a cutesy way of saying chisai, like a baby talk way. And so that's sort of, it's usually referring to like little kids, so I'll reference that in the translation. Little kids shouldn't be cutting phone cords.
みー。
Me.
僕 僕には何のことやらわからないのです。
I have no idea what you're talking about.
じゃあこっちだって何のことかわからないや。
Then I don't know what you're talking about either. As we played dumb with each other, we both laughed at the same time. If somebody saw us laughing at each other like this, it would probably bring a smile to their lips.
赤坂が生きてこの村を出られる確率は決して高くありませんでした。
Is that supposed to hint that in other worlds he dies? Yeah, what is that? That's weird. I found something on my chair and I don't know what it is. Feels very brittle and stone-like. It may very well be a stone. I don't know if you could see that. Have to wait for my camera to focus in on it. Okay. Anyway.
The chances of Akasaka leaving this village alive weren't very high.
僕は赤坂に死んでほしくはないので、生きて村を出ることができて嬉しいです。
I don't want Akasaka to die, so I'm glad you're leaving the village alive.
リカちゃん、
リカちゃん。
最初っから私の正体は知ってたんだろ？
You knew who I was, right from the beginning, didn't you? She said nothing, but gave a firm nod.
なら分かっていると思うけど、私たちはこの村のどちらかというと敵の部類に入ると思う。
Well then, I think you know this, but we're probably somewhat of an enemy to the people in this village, I would think.
なのに君はいろいろと忠告してくれたね。
But you still gave me lots of warnings. That's right. She said at that time she wouldn't warn somebody that she was okay with dying. She definitely said something like that.
なら私は君に感謝するべきなのかもしれないね。
Then I should probably be thanking you.
感謝した方がいいのですよ。
You probably should.
僕は命の恩人なのです。
I'm your savior.
Saying that, she puffed up her chest proudly. She said it jokingly, but the meaning behind those words was quite heavy. That was because whether I lived or died was a decision that might have been made in a place unbeknownst to me. She said those words with such an adorable smile that it took a few moments of silence for the weight to settle in. I'd been to this place before. The Defense Alliance's office was there. There was the stone steps leading up to the Furude Shrine. When I passed by before, I was so focused on finding a phone booth I hadn't realized where I was.
確かこの神社がリカちゃんの家だったよね。
If I recall correctly, this shrine is Rika-chan's house, right?
まあそんなものです。
Yeah, something like that.
Looking up at the shrine grounds, it was brightly lit and energetic voices could be heard. What was going on?
今日はお祭りの日なのですよ。
There's a festival today.
お祭り？
A festival? Sorry, I'm just, refreshing the Wi-Fi so I can see stream on my end.
ひなみ沢村の唯一で一番のお祭り。
The best and only festival in Hinamizawa.
Alright, let me redo that line.
The best and only festival in Hinamizawa.
綿流しのお祭りです。
The Watanagashi Festival.
綿流し？
Watanagashi? Cotton drifting? Sure, let's take it like that. Let's let that be the way you take it.
祭りなんて名ばかりのつまらないものですよ。
Just knowing the name is boring.
見ますですか？
Do you want to take a look?
She asked bluntly. But seeing that I looked interested, she climbed up a couple of steps and motioned for me to come. I was only going to go back and sleep anyways. If I had nothing else to do, it might not be a bad idea to go with her on a little detour. In the hostile territory that was this village, I didn't know what would happen if I ventured down a side road without Oishi. Even though I thought of the village like that, when I was with this girl, I forgot all about it. In any case, even without anything to back it up, I felt that as long as I was with her, none of the ill will from the village would befall me. That's why, even though I knew my cover was blown, I strangely had no qualms about setting foot into the heart of the Onegafuchi Defense Alliance's territory. 1 second. Alright. Climbing up to the grounds of the shrine, I could see there were about 3 pavilions set up, with meeting tables and folding chairs. The old folks from the village, no, the executives of the Defense Alliance, were already quite drunkenly sharing another round of drinks. I could only see it as people from the village council drinking while enjoying the evening air. At the very least, it was certainly quite different than any festival I had ever seen.
ね、
See?
つまんないお祭りでしょ。
It's quite a boring festival, isn't it?
これは確かにお祭りには見えないね。
This certainly doesn't look like a festival.
大昔からずっと続いてきたお祭りですが、見ての通り、すっかり寂れてしまったのですよ。
It's a festival that happened since long ago, but as you can see, it's not like it used to be.
As if to chide the old folk, typo, she said that while looking at them with an exasperated expression. You really couldn't call this a festival anymore. It was just a bunch of neighbors getting together to drink under the guise of a festival.
これじゃ祀られる神様も気の毒だな。
I feel sorry for the deity being celebrated here.
こんなみっともないお祭りも、5、6年もすると村中が総出でやってきて。
Give this sorry excuse for a festival 5 or 6 more years, then everybody in the village will start coming.
ちゃんと儀式も真面目にやる立派なお祭りになるのですよ。
The ceremony will also be done properly, and it will be a respectable festival again.
What she said was not so much wishful thinking as it was the telling of a future that had already been determined. She wasn't even predicting it. It was almost like she was simply reporting the results. That's how it sounded. Even though it was based on speculation, the way she said it wouldn't let me interject. It was the same way she talked when she changed. While I struggled to find the words to reply to her, she wandered over to the other side of the grounds, not minding me at all. Wait. The way she said it wouldn't let me interject. Okay. Okay, so it's not her actively not letting him interject. It's the way she said it that kind of paralyzed him. I thought that might have contradicted this, but I was wrong. While I struggled to find the words to reply to her, she wandered over to the other side of the grounds, not minding me at all. Not in a state where I could afford to be left behind, I hurriedly followed after her. Passing through a copse of pine trees, a strong and cool breeze ruffled my hair. There, from that one evening, was the splendid observation platform the girl had shown me. As it had grown completely dark, the modest lights flirted across the nightscape were providing a different type of scenery.
こうして眺めると、この村ものどかそうに見えますのです。
Looking at it like this,
Oh, sorry. Darn it.
looking at it like this village seems tranquil.
She said that with an indifferent look on her face.
君は先日、
Just the other day,
この村は絶対にダムに沈むことはないと、
you said that this
そう
village...
断言したね。
You said this village definitely wouldn't be submerged by the dam. Didn't you? She didn't reply, seemingly relishing in the feeling of the wind blowing through her hair.
あれは あの時点でもう大臣が要求に応じていたという意味だったんだね。
Didn't that mean, at that point in time, the minister had already complied with the demands? She spun around, her gaze meeting mine. But she said nothing. She spoke nothing that would neither confirm nor deny what I had just said.
多分今回の事件は闇から闇へ葬られる。
This case will probably remain shrouded in darkness.
本庁上層部は多分大臣のスキャンダルが公になってトラブルになることを望まないと思う。
Headquarters probably doesn't want trouble from a scandal with the minister breaking out.
さもないと孫を殺すぞと脅したに違いないのです。
There's no mistake that they threatened to kill the grandchild.
で大臣との交渉が成功し孫は解放された。
Then negotiations with the minister were successful, and the grandson was released.
孫を助けたのは赤坂ですよ。
The one who saved the grandson was you.
どうだろう。
I wonder about that.
発端となったあの財布の発見、
The discovery of that wallet that started this chain of events.
あれ自体がすでにできすぎだったように思う。
That alone was almost too convenient, I think. Ever since the moment that wallet was discovered, I felt something was odd. Always she said it as well. That the Sonozaki family had given the order to release the hostage. Meaning that our little manhunt was a farce to begin with. Come to think of it, I was punched, kicked, and had a gun pointed at me. I felt like they put up quite a fight, but that might have all been part of a good performance. Once the negotiations were successful, they couldn't just say, "Here you go," and return the minister's grandson right to his doorstep. They knew that public safety had realized that this was a kidnapping case and were moving in on it. That's why, due to the actions of public safety, the grandson was able to be rescued safely. So the minister didn't give in to any unreasonable demands. That type of performance was necessary.
僕には難しいことはよくわかりません。
I don't know about these difficult things.
同感だな。
Likewise,
私にだって難しいことはよくわからない。
even for me, I can't make much sense of it.
だが一つ確実なことがある。
But there's one thing I can be certain of.
君が言った通りってことさ。
It's just as you said.
この村はダム湖になんか沈まない。
This village won't be submerged.
ダム計画なんてそのうちなくなってしまうってことさ。
The dam project will soon be over. That wasn't something an officer of the law should be saying. But I naturally let those words slip from my mouth. Blah. This village may have stirred up all sorts of trouble. But that was because they were protecting their homes. If someone just decided by themselves that I had to leave the house I was used to living in, I would resent them as well. On top of that, it wasn't a place like mine where I just happened to be renting it, but a place that their families had lived for generations. I might be ignorant to call their desperate resistance an overreaction. I might not really be qualified to criticize politics or bureaucracy, but deliberately building a dam on land that was loved by its residents wasn't something I could get behind.
でもよかったじゃないか。
Still, aren't you glad?
どうしてですか？
Why would that be?
少なくともこれでこの村に平和が戻るよ。
At the very least, with this, peace will return to this village. Even though the minister promised to use his considerable influence to cancel the project, it would probably take more than a few months before it would be completely scrapped. At the very least, it would probably take 1 or 2 years. For the villagers to officially hear that their village wasn't going to be submerged at the bottom of a dam was still a ways away. But it was no mistake that the promise of peace returning to the village was there. It turned out, from beginning to end, that it had already all been decided. Just as the girl had said, it was decided. There wasn't really a need for me to come in here in the first place. There was absolutely no need for me to have come here and aggravated an unpleasant situation. If I had never come here, then the grandson's release might have been done in a more amicable manner.
平和が
Peace?
この村に
In this village?
When I nodded, she laughed as if to admonish me. But her face remained indifferent, expressionless. And then, her eyes narrowed slightly as she snickered.
これから毎年血生臭いことが起きるのに
Even though every year from now on, something bloody will occur?
リカちゃん、何の話だい？
Rika-chan, what are you talking about? As the wind blew her hair about, the girl, as if taking pleasure in that I was the only one who didn't know, continued to snicker as she looked at my face for a while.
私ね
You see,
あと何年かすると殺されるの
in a few years, I'll be killed.
Huh? Backlit by the moon, it was hard to tell if her expression had been cast in shadow was smiling, amused, typo, or resigned.
リカちゃんが
You are?
どうして？
Why?
とても不愉快なことだけど
It's a very unpleasant thing, though.
それも多分
It's
決まってることなの
it too has probably been decided already.
決まっているって、誰がそんなことを決めるんだい？
Decided already? Who would decide that sort of thing?
それを私も知りたいの
I'd like to know that as well.
Turning back to face me, she showed me a resolute expression for the first time. And after staring into my eyes for a moment, she turned back to gaze at the scenery before she spoke her next words.
ここは人の命を何とも思わない連中でいっぱいです
There's a lot of people who have no regard for human life.
これを伝えても何も変わらないかもしれないけど
Even if I tell you this, it might not change anything, though.
でも死という月を映す水面をかき消すためなら小石を投じることもあるかもしれない
But if you want to erase the specter of death, sometimes, like with the reflection of the moon on the water, all you have to do is throw a small stone.
I have no idea what she was trying to say. I had no idea what she was trying to say. It's just, I had to listen to every word with my body and soul. Or at least that's what I thought.
来年の今日
This day next year,
そう昭和54年の6月の今日
yes, June 1979, on this day.
ダム現場の監督が殺されます
So this is 1978.
The foreman of the dam construction project will be killed.
What? For a moment, I couldn't comprehend what she was talking about. By the foreman, did she mean that gruff old man I played mahjong with?
殺されるって、どうして？
Killed? What makes you think? She didn't answer. But she had the same expression on her face as she did when she declared that the dam project would go away. That wasn't the face of somebody making a forecast or a prediction. It was something that was already decided. No. It was as if she were already reporting the results. That sort of expression.
恐ろしい殺され方をした後体中をバラバラに引き裂かれて捨てられてしまいます
After being killed in a gruesome manner, the body will be torn apart and disposed of.
バラバラ殺人。
Murdered and dismembered.
その翌年の昭和55年の6月の今日
The next year, in June of 1980, on this day,
聡子の両親が
突き落とされて死にます。
Satoko's parents will be pushed to their deaths.
Satoko? It was the first time I heard that name, but I didn't have the courage to interrupt the girl's story.
あるいは事故と言うべきかもしれない。
It might be an accident,
不幸な事故。
an unfortunate accident.
The girl smiled faintly. She wasn't exactly encouraging me to smile along with the lifeless look in her eyes.
そしてさらにその翌年の昭和56年の6月の今日。
And then, the year after that, this day, in June of 1981,
私の両親が
my,
殺されます。
my parents will also be killed.
そしてさらに翌年の昭和57年の6月の今日。
And then, the year after that, this day, in June of 1982,
聡子の意地悪おばが頭を割られて死にます。
Satoko's abusive aunt will have her head split open and die.
そしてさらに翌年の昭和58年の6月の今日。
Did she get to her parents dying? Oh yeah, she did mention it.
And then, the year after that, this day, in the June of 1983,
あるいはその数日後か。
or possibly a few days afterwards,
私が殺されます。
I will be killed.
すべての死が予定調和なら
If all the deaths are preordained,
最後の死もまた予定のうちなのでしょうか。
then the last one would also be all according to plan.
でもならばこれは一体誰の予定なの？
But then, whose plan would it be?
This village is full of murderers and people who have no regard for human life. It would be fine to believe that all the deaths up to 1982 would be the work of somebody in the village. It would be fine to believe that all the deaths that would occur were at the discretion of those who control the village. But that didn't explain what had happened in 1983. There was no way that the last death would fit in with anybody's plans. They had no regard for human life. They would use every means at their disposal to meet their goals. But their goals were at odds with the last death. That's why the last death was unrelated to them. But that last death would definitely, most likely, probably, without question, happen. Probably, definitely, I dare say. The last death would be a merciful one. A handkerchief or something being placed over their mouth, making them lose consciousness, never to wake up again. Exactly whose plan was that?
私は幸せに生きたい。
I want to live happily.
望みはそれだけ。
That's my only wish.
大好きな友人たちに囲まれて楽しく日々を過ごしたい。
Surrounded by my precious friends, spending our days enjoyably.
それだけなの。
Only that.
それ以上の何も望んでいないの。
I don't wish for anything more than that.
リカちゃん。
Rika-chan.
死にたくない。
I don't want to die.
The girl, stoic as ever, let those last words slip in the end. Eventually, we were discovered by some drunks. The girl, as well as I, were dragged back to the festivities. Everybody was completely drunk, so even when they saw my head completely wrapped in bandages, they wouldn't let me leave. Well, certainly if I was in good enough condition to slip out of the hospital, it must not be that serious. The girl was mingling with everybody, being pampered like a kitten. Her expression was adorable, nothing like the one from just before, predicting her own death and whispering that she didn't want to die. Having said that, having a silly and lively conversation like this, it was hard to believe that these people were the core of an extremist resistance group, even if it were a shell of its former self. It was a festival where people in the village gathered. So the 20-some odd folk here should have included some of the village executives and other important members. Among those, there was no doubt that there were members that were at the Sonozaki Family Council in attendance. Meaning, even if we never met face-to-face before, there were people here who knew my identity. In a small village like this, they knew the faces of all the villagers that lived here. That's why, without even saying anything, it soon became obvious that I was an outsider. But they actually seemed interested by that, asking me all sorts of questions about Tokyo, drinking while musing on the faint relationship the city had with the villagers, and empathizing with the rather meager environment. The confidential talks with the minister were finished, his grandson was in police custody, everything was over. I might not have to be put in another perilous situation. To me, they were only my adversaries because of my job. Outside of that, there's no reason I couldn't be friendly with them. Next time I visited this village, would it return to being a tranquil and beautiful place? If that happened, I might be able to take a relaxed walk around the village with her again. My cup was once again filled to the brim with beer. By the time I was able to get away, it was the middle of the night. The girl had at some point disappeared. It seems that her parents had told her to go home and sleep when she let out a large yawn. The old folks, who had absolutely no remorse for making an injured person hang out with them, told me as much as they laughed. Alright. I was just there drinking, so I had thought to help out a bit with cleaning up. However, my help was refused on the grounds that I was a guest. On top of that, they had a car prepared to take me back to the hospital. Losing the battle against my sleepiness inside the car, I was sound asleep until we reached the parking lot of the hospital. The front door of the hospital was naturally locked at this hour. I wandered around bewilderedly searching for a back entrance until somebody on night duty found out and let me inside.
こんな時間までどちらへ
Where were you this late at night?
入江先生も心配してましたよ。
Dr. Irie and everyone was worried, you know.
ご迷惑をおかけしました。
Sorry for the trouble.
神社でお祭りの人たちに引き止められまして。
I was held up by the people having a festival at the shrine.
ああ、そういえば今日は神社で町会の人たちが集まって飲むとか言ってたな。
Oh, they did say something about everybody in the town council getting together for a drink.
それはご愁傷様でした。
My condolences.
傷は大丈夫ですか
Are your wounds all right?
ちょっとズキズキしますね。
They're throbbing a bit.
多分アルコールのせいだと思います。
It's probably because of the alcohol, I think. Smooth move that slacks.
そうだ。
Oh, that's right.
お連れの刑事さんが連絡が欲しいと言ってましたよ。
The detective that was with you wanted to get in touch.
いけない。
Oops.
大石さんを待たせてたんだった。
I kept Oishi-san waiting. I glanced at the clock. No matter how you looked at it, it was way too late to call him now. I'll apologize to him tomorrow over the phone. I returned back to my hospital room and slipped into the bed that was still unmade from the time I went outside. Oh, that's no good. I have to turn off the lights. But my weirdness had cut the cord powering my body, lulling me into deep sleep. Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. You have received new tips. Mother's Diary 1, 2, and 3. So, I actually had to mute it there because the timing and the music was too perfect for it to be spoiled by that loop. Achievement unlocked. Prophecy at the beginning. Heard someone's prediction. Alright. That was fun. That was a nice, gentle, and informative resolution. But it seems like it's not over yet. So, we'll be returning to this Monday. Mondays, Thursdays are Higurashi nights. Tuesdays we've been doing survival horror games. Currently we're doing the Whistleblower DLC of Outlast for my first time. And I'm, for the vast majority of it, blind. I know about like Eddie Kluskin, and I've seen the two infamous scenes involving him in other people's playthroughs, but that's as much as I know about it. So that's Blind. So Mondays, Thursdays, Higurashi. Tuesdays, Survival Horror Nights, currently Outlast Whistleblower. So if any of those sound interesting to you, be sure to check us out then. And join our Discord if you have not. That's how you get notified when we go live, and how you keep in touch in between streams. If Twitch will actually let me send it. I have to alt-tab out anyway, so I might as well just put it through on my computer rather than on my phone. Alright. So, there you have it. Join that Discord if you want to stay in touch and notified. So, here, let me just close that. Yes, I'm sure. So, pick this back up Monday. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, everyone. And as always, if you like what you see, please feel free to click like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, or join the Discord. Any feedback you can give me at all will help me tailor my future content towards your interests. I'm Regulus Pastor, and until next time, Wale!